Why did I get into bass fishing? Why do I love bass fishing? Why am I obsessed with bass fishing? Probably the same reason a lot of you out there are obsessed and love bass fishing as well. Now, I fish tournaments, what I do for a living. And of course, this is not the reason blue trophies are amazing and awesome. And I try to get every single one of them I absolutely can. I've got two in my career so far, and we're just going to try like hell to get every other one we can. But that's not exactly why I fish tournaments. I was going to let you know that it's, I don't know, I guess simpler than that. It's not for this. This was fun. This was during the Bassmaster Classic. One of the reasons I like to fish. I like to fish at the biggest level. I like to fish when the most is on the line. And we had a lot on the line, and we pushed it to the end, and we made a cool picture. But let me bring it back to you on a Bassmaster Classic right here. This is a 2005, the very first Bassmaster Classic I fished. You look down through some of the names. Some of the names are still involved. There's Cliff Pace. He's still fishing. Davey Height, Mike Iaconelli. Just looking down the list, you get Takahiro was fishing, Van Dam, Zell Rowland, Swindle still fishing, Aaron Martins, RIP, love you, brother, Morgan Taylor, Rojas, Clun, Nixon, Marty Stone, Terry Scroggins, Dave Wallach. Dave is still a good friend. Jeff Crete living his best life down there in Destin. Skeet looking to retire this coming year. Mike Reynolds, Andre Moore, Jeff Reynolds. Jeff Reynolds. I see him periodically. Ish Monroe, still a good friend. Jay Ellis. Oh, look at that guy. That's me. Just so cool to look back at my very first classic back in 2005, 20 years ago. And that's just, there's a lot of sentimental names, and that's not exactly why I love to bass fish. Let me tell you why. The reason that I got to make that Bassmaster Classic is the reason that I love to bass fish. The reason I love to bass fish is because you can figure out how to catch bass and do it better than these best names in the world. Luke Clausen, still a friend. Look at that. Stacey King, legend. Brian Snowden, Tommy Biffle, Jimmy Mize, just super cool. Super cool. But that's, you fishing against those guys, you have to be really good. You have to catch them really good. You have to work hard. You have to focus on what it takes to catch bass and catch bass better than anybody else. I've got tackle everywhere. I'm in my office right now. I've got tackle everywhere, everything from prototypes to new lures. I love designing lures. That's one of the things I love about designing lures, is that those lures can help you catch fish better than other anglers. And that is something that drives me. But we're getting down to the core here of exactly what I love about it. I love figuring out what it takes to make a bass bite better than anybody else, just better than you were catching them last week. I mean, we're talking about fishing a Carolina rig and going from a 1/2 ounce weight to a 1 ounce weight, that weight making more disturbance on the bottom, and that weight difference, you can multiply the number of fish you're catching by 10. I've seen it. I've seen it in multiple times. That's the kind of cool stuff that you can't explain. There's no science that explains that or shows that. And when people want to talk about forward-facing sonar and that is destroying our sport, and they're looking at the wrong thing, in my opinion. All you're doing is getting away from what it takes to make those fish bite and bite better. You've seen some of the live scope experts from Kioya, Jay Shakurit, those different guys that have been very successful with it. I think they stay narrowly focused on what it takes to make those fish bite. Not the fact that they're finding them, not that they don't care. Okay, use it, don't use it, whatever. They're staying focused on the part about bass fishing that I love, and that is the fact that you are figuring out, I need to put a one 32nd ounce or a 3 32nd ounce weight in my Neko rig worm in order to make those fish bite. Like one's falling a little too slow, one's falling too fast. Which one? Sometimes you might switch from one to the other. Like you're catching a few fish on the one, but you switch to the other and you start catching twice as many. That's the kind of stuff. Or you get that one key bite, maybe that 1 4-pounder that you really need to push you past everybody else. That fish wants that bait falling faster. That's going to make that fish react. Those are the little nuances, the little tiny changes that you make during a tournament day, during practice, between practice and the tournament. All these little nuance changes, like you might switch from a chartreuse and blackback Little John to a shad color Little John. All of a sudden you get 10 bites one day and you get 14 bites the next day. Can you quantify that? Is that exactly right? Did that color change make a difference? Maybe it did. If it did, maybe you get those couple extra bites. Or maybe those fish get the bait better because that's more of the color they really are kind of keying in on. Like all those little teeny minute details, that is what I love. That's what I love about bass fishing. Switching from 10-pound test to 6-pound test, catching more fish. Or vice versa. Figuring out that fishing with 12-pound test makes no difference. You could fish with 6 or 12, you're going to catch the same number of fish. But with 12, you're going to probably get more of those fish in the boat, and you're going to get them in the boat quicker. But if you figure that stuff out, you're going to have an advantage over anybody you're fishing against. So to me, that's why blue trophies are like the ultra proof of figuring it out better than everybody else, and everything just clicking for you over the course of 4 days. Like that is unbelievable. I mean, there's very, very few tournaments that are won on a spot. We've talked about that before. Having one spot that you can go to and just sit there and win the tournament, that just doesn't hardly happen. I mean, it might happen once every 3 or 4 or 5 years, but it very, very rarely happens. Most of the time you have to adapt. You have to do something a little different. You have to, I mean, even the last tournament we just had on the Elite Series at the Sabine River, made the top 10. I was about 4 pounds behind Pat Schlapper. I knew I had to do something a little different, so I tried something a little different. It didn't work. Pat also had to try something a little different. He had been catching them basically in like a couple areas, flipping and fishing just one specific area, but flipping a different area as well. Well, on day 4, he knew he was going to have to do something a little different. He tried something, didn't work, shifted gears, and caught him on a buzzbait. And then the rest of the day, it was super tough for him. So that one little adjustment, he hadn't been catching him on a buzzbait. He knew he caught some in practice on that buzzbait, but he knew that he had that kind of in his back pocket. And daggone, if it didn't click for him on day 4, it's the only reason he won the tournament. If not, Kioya and Walters would have tied for second. So that would have been pretty crazy. They would have tied for the win, but they tied for second. But anyway, that's kind of how that stuff goes. You got to just pay attention to all these little fine, minute details that really, I mean, Patrick Walters, I mentioned him, he's one of the best at it. His track record over the last 5+ years is fantastic. The Johnstons, whoever you want to name, Wheeler, obviously Cannell has been killing it the last couple years. He's won 3. You don't win 3 Red Crests on 3 different places and not be totally dialed into exactly what those fish are doing and adapting. I mean, not just he never just went to one area and caught all these fish. He's adapting, staying on top of exactly what these fish are doing. He's on top of his game right now, and he's won damn near $1 million, trying to do that. So that's pretty amazing. To watch that the guys that are really dialed in to staying focused on what really matters, they just stay dialed into it, and they keep it rolling. So that's my whole objective, is just to stay dialed into exactly what the fish are doing, stay ahead of them. You've got a cold front coming in, maybe you've got some wind coming in, practicing in preparation for what's coming or what's going to happen, or you have cloudy conditions in practice and then you're going to have sunny conditions in the tournament. or you're out there and it's sunny in the morning and then it gets cloudy in the afternoon and it starts to get windy. Are you going to make any adjustments? Are you going to make any changes? Are you going to change colors? Are you going to change depths? Are you going to change techniques? Like that, all that is what I love about bass fishing, and all this other stuff is a lot of noise. Whatever rules, on any level are set, as long as they're equal and fair and equally enforced for everybody. Let's go. Whatever it is, I'm game. As long as I have the ability to figure out what those fish are doing and how to catch them a little bit better each time, whatever information I can get, that is what drives me. That's what I love about this. That's why I've been doing it for 25 years. And people say, how long are you going to do it? I said, I don't know, as long as it's still fun. And the fun part is figuring them out. We get to go up north and, catch smallmouth out in the middle of these giant lakes and have these big, huge brown fish. And they're not as dumb as people think they are. They can be very particular, but they can also be very aggressive. And there's no one magic potion for them. Just like we were down at the Sabine River, there's no one magic potion for them down there. I've had a really good run down at the Sabine, but it's all been because of different stuff that I have figured out during those tournaments. I've caught them on top waters, drop shot. I mean, you name it, all kind of different baits, different areas. I've never fished the same area really twice down there. I tried to do it one time and it burnt me the first day. And luckily I shifted and adjusted, still had a good tournament. So that just shows you have to stay on top of what the fish are doing every day that you're on a body of water. And that's just the cool part that I love. And if anybody else loves that same deal, drop it down there. You have any kind of cool stories about figuring out fish and staying right on top of what they are doing at that particular time? Maybe you're throwing a white spinner bait and all of a sudden you switch to flipping a D-bomb, or you're flipping a D-bomb and all of a sudden it just got super windy, so you picked up a chatterbait and then you just started wrecking them. But the day before they wouldn't touch a chatterbait. Like that's the kind of cool stuff that I absolutely love. Or you switch from a 3/8 chatterbait to a 1/2 ounce chatterbait, and all of a sudden you catch twice as many fish. Same color, same everything, same spunk shad on the back, whatever. I just think that is the coolest thing. And that is what I absolutely love about bass fishing. So you got any stories, drop them down there. And again, everybody, we love bass fishing. That's what it's all about.